That's my biggest fear. Anytime I give someone an answer, I'm afraid it's going to be used to enable someone else's bad behavior. Unintentionally, right. It's going to be used to perpetuate the cycle of abuse. Like, I feel like I'm like complicit in it sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just giving the answer, but I know when someone's looking for it from a place of like compassion and understanding, you might tell yourself it's not them, it's the addiction. Depending on the question that's asked, right? And that keeps you from holding people accountable.
Yeah.
It keeps you from focusing on the behaviors rather than the substance. But here's the truth. Understanding addiction doesn't change the fact that their behavior is hurting you. Welcome back to another episode of Till the Wheels Fall Off. I'm Matt.
I'm Paige.
Today we're going to dive deep into the need for so many spouses and partners to understand this desire to understand addiction and the harmful behaviors behind addiction, whether it's addiction or narcissism or mental health issues, any number of mental health disorders. Understanding why people act the way they do can sometimes feel like the key that's going to fix the relationship, or at the very least make sense of the pain that you're feeling. But here's the catch. Understanding can bring clarity, but it can also keep you trapped. We're going to explore the emotional and psychological reasons why we crave understanding. We're going to discuss the benefits and the dangers of over-intellectualizing the problem without taking action. But first, let's got some announcements.
Yay!
We've got a newsletter. Well, kind of. I've had this newsletter now for, I don't know, like
a few months.
5-6 months, and a lot of people aren't getting it. So I'm going to keep sending the newsletter, but I'm also going to post those as a blog on our website. So if you go to our website, www.twfo.com, scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, you can sign up for the newsletter. And I'm hoping that you get it. I think it's some kind of like email security server thing that's causing this issue.
Yeah, I think so too.
I really don't know. But at the very least, head over to the top of the page and you'll see a blog section. Click on the blogs and you'll be able to find it there as well. I will do my best to keep them updated every Monday, just like the newsletters. And you can also sign up for blog updates. So if you're not getting newsletter updates, at the very least, you can get blog updates.
So you're going to keep doing both?
Yeah, I'm going to keep doing both, I think.
Okay.
For the time being.
Well, I might update the website and make the blog thing on the front. I'm going to see what that is.
I'm not sure yet, but we're just going to roll with it for now. We're just going to fly by the seat of our pants, as we often do here.
That's how we roll.
We've got a course called Independently Strong. Independently Strong is a course designed for partners and spouses of alcoholics and addicts to empower you to make decisions from a place of confidence rather than fear. Many times people come to us and they feel completely lost. They are confused. They know that they used to be someone that they are no longer, and they wanted to rediscover who that person is. They want to stop enabling. They want to learn how to set boundaries. They want to learn the difference between enabling and helping somebody. They want to learn how to support someone. They want to learn what's true, what's false when it comes to addiction, and see through all the BS, because there is so much confusion, like we're going to discuss today.
Yeah.
Our course cuts through all of that. Mm-hmm. We built it with the help of a licensed practitioner, Dr. Christopher Taylor, an LPC, that is going to walk you through a lot of these concepts as well. Each one of those modules, there are 10 of them, has a segment with Dr. Taylor as we discuss the material together to talk about, you know, the research, the science behind all of this stuff. It is amazing. It is helpful. Right now, you are also getting 75% off using the code Wheelies75. That's Wheelies with an S, 75.
Yes, and it's a self-paced course.
Yeah.
So I just wanted everyone to know that. And also, once you finish the course, you can go back through it from a different perspective. And I'm finding some students doing that, and it's becoming even more helpful. It's kind of like steps, if you think about it.
Yeah.
You just keep redoing it, and you get a different perspective each time, which I think is really awesome. And I think that's cool that we put it out there like that, to where it's like, just because you're done, you're not done. You keep going, and we will add some new things there, here and there too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. If you only have time in the middle of the night, you are not limited by classroom hours. You can go on that thing whenever you want and knock some modules out, get some work done. There are exercises, there are worksheets, there's reflection, journaling prompts, you name it. It's all in there.
Yep. And our worksheets are, I'm just going to discuss this really quick, because our worksheets are they're very thought-provoking. They're simple, but they help you think about things in a different perspective. And I think that's what makes it different than a lot of programs out there. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah. I mean, it's designed to make you think critically, to really make you look at things in reality, to remove all the fluff that emotions create and to really look at this thing objectively and say, what is going on here in this relationship? What is going on in this particular situation?
We
Let's
still have the
examine this.
relationship evaluation up.
That is true.
That is the mini course. We haven't been talking about that a lot, but if you want to get just an evaluation of your relationship, we have that on our website as well. And it's just the first module of the course. So if you're interested in getting that, grab it. And then if you like it, you can complete the whole course. You can grab the whole course.
You can also split the course up into 3 separate payments as well.
Yes.
No interest or anything else. You can just pay 3 payments.
Yep.
Trying to make this as affordable as possible for people. Next thing, we've got a community. Our community is called Tufo Community. It's a place where thousands of other people that are going through the very same thing that you're going through go to connect, go to empower each other.
On Facebook.
Yeah, it's on Facebook. Sorry, I didn't mention that.
That's good.
It's a place to connect.
You.
It's a place to have fellowship. It's a place to have a community. It's a place sometimes to vent. It's a place to share wins, to share progress, to share what you're doing, to be there for other people. As we've said before on the show, and I didn't make this up, I read this in Stephen Bartlett's book, that if you want to learn about something, read about it. If you want to understand something, write about it. You do that whenever you post, whenever you articulate your thoughts. And if you really want to master something, you teach it. You help other people through it. You show them what you did in your experience. And that's what we do in that community. It's a really, really helpful, empowering place.
Yeah, we go live every Sunday evening as well. And we like to throw out weekly challenges for people.
Yeah, we try to keep it active. Like we're in there. And other amazing wheelies are in there. It's a very active place. It's awesome. I don't know how many posts it gets a day, but I would venture to say at least 100. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right? It's probably
like
about right.
usually between 60 and 100.
Yeah, it's great. Not too big that you get lost and not too small that like it's just crickets in there. It's solid. We've also got merch on our website. We've got hats, we've got stickers, we've got rocks. I think we've still got some sweatshirts up there. Don't we?
Yes.
What was that?
I'm just trying to think. That's a maybe.
Yeah, I think we do.
My head is going in a circle.
I've got to restock sweatshirts because it is sweatshirt season. And I think that's all I have. Is that it? I feel like I'm missing something.
I think you are missing something.
Whatever. Let's just get this episode
okay,
on
let's
the
go.
road. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Good.
Okay, so the topic of this episode came to me because we often get questions, especially on TikTok, from people that ask these questions like, when an addict does this, what do they mean? Mm-hmm. What does it mean when they do X, Y, Z? What does it mean when this happens? If they sleep with someone else or they're talking to other girls, what does that mean? There's this visceral desire to understand so much about what's going on inside of the mind of an addict, your loved one. This is very common when it comes to narcissistic type behaviors as well. A lot of people want to understand why the narcissist does what he does. They want to understand where this is coming from. And it's always been kind of bizarre to us because we're so much about focusing on the behaviors rather than the substance or the disorder.
Or addiction, yeah. Or alcoholism. It's all about what are the behaviors.
Yeah, what are the behaviors? How do they affect you? Because I could answer your question, but it's going to get you no closer to a solution. As we will see as we go through this episode, is that you can't fix this thing with simply understanding it. While knowledge is important, don't get me wrong, and there are benefits, and we will talk about them, it is not the golden key. I think so often what people are trying to do without realizing is they think that if they could intellectualize this and they could understand why addicts do the things that we do, then you can find some kind of back door to approach it differently and in some ways help your loved one find a solution.
Well, many of us are fixers. We're problem solvers. We want to be able to do whatever it takes to fix something. We think there's always going to be a solution to a problem. And we're like, well, what can we do? How do we figure this out? What do I need to do to make this work? But in reality, it takes two. It's not going to take just one person to fix it.
Yeah, the person in addiction has by far the larger obligation to make this right.
Right. And typically the solution that you want is not necessarily what you need.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I was sitting here drinking this great sparkling water.
Waterloo.
What the hell flavor is this?
It's grape.
It's not grape.
But
I just had
purple.
Grapes the other day.
It's purple.
You're right.
That
it's
is all. I love purple flavored stuff.
Purple.
They don't taste like actual grapes. It's kind of like banana flavored things, like Laffy Taffy.
There's a story behind that.
Yeah,
though.
I know, but I don't want to talk about that right now. Do we have to talk about that right now? You've told me the story so many times, but you can tell the listeners if you want to. Go for it. Maybe you've talked about it before.
I'm not going to bore anyone with my dad facts. I'm just going to tell you that the flavor of bananas that you get from Laffy Taffy does come from an actual banana that we just don't use very much because I think it's prone to diseases. So we switched to different bananas, but those bananas still do exist and they taste like that apparently.
Have you,
I've just never gotten
have you had
my
one?
hands on them. They're called, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's spelled Gros, like grows, and then it's Michael or Michelle Michel. I don't know how you pronounce it. I've just read it.
Well, I love banana flavored taffy.
I think the bananas that we eat are Cavendish bananas, and those are like the bananas that we eat most often. But maybe grapes have the same story. Maybe purple is the same story.
Okay, well, now we need to go into some research mode after this and figure out why grape is not really taste like grape. It tastes like purple. It kind of tastes like Robitussin sometimes.
It's
cherry flavored stuff tastes like Robitussin.
But when I
too.
drink it, I just know that that's grape, but it's not
purple,
grape.
But it's not grape. No, but it's like blue raspberry.
That's not even a thing, is it?
Like blue raspberry flavored stuff? Suckers?
Ain't a blue raspberry just a blackberry?
Maybe.
I don't know. Just trying to get tricky with these flavors, trying to get kids to drink these stuff and eat these suckers.
Well, I don't know about you, but this is one of my favorite flavors of sparkling water.
I always love grape soda.
I like it.
So underrated.
I agree.
Okay, back to the topic. Sorry. Why do we seek to understand? Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Underneath a lot of this, there is the emotional need for control, validation, and closure. So when you're living in the chaos of addiction and the chaos of a relationship where addiction is present, one of the first things you want is control because you lack all of it. And I don't just mean in the sense like you can't control someone else. I mean, you don't control anything.
Right.
Like it is a chaotic environment.
Absolutely.
I mean, the fights that happen, like these hello, surprise kind of shit that happens every single day. The roller coaster of it all. Addiction creates unpredictability. And understanding why someone acts the way they do can make the situation feel more manageable in a sense.
Right.
It feels more manageable the more that you understand. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
More than that, I think what it does is that it gives people hope that if you can locate the root cause, that you can solve the problem.
Yeah.
If you can solve for X, then we can get this figured out.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any experience with this? Like when I was acting the fool, did you ever think like, what is really going on with him? Is it his family of origin? Does he have some shit going on? Is it ADHD? Is it like...
Well, yeah, I questioned some things. I didn't question addiction, though. That was one of the things we were just talking about this beforehand, that I didn't really look into addiction for a long, long time because I focused on the behaviors. But yeah, there was some like, how do I communicate better? How do I talk to him? What can I say to him? What is it? Why is he treating me like this? Why is he still doing this? And I mean, I questioned it a lot, but I still really just focused on the behaviors more than anything.
Yeah. So when it comes to control, for many spouses, understanding feels like a way to regain power in an uncontrollable situation. So just simply understanding the why of it all. Why do they do the things they do? Why do they text other women? Why do they disappear? Why do they lie?
Why is their whole life a lie?
Right. If you can understand it, if I could give you an explanation that you would buy, it would give you some kind of power over that situation, because it just feels so uncontrollable. Like you need something to explain this. You think if I can just understand what's behind all of this, I can fix it. And that's I think a natural human instinct.
100%. Especially
Especially when you feel completely helpless. But like you mentioned like women as fixers, caretakers, solvers. Like I think this is like, I don't know if it's ingrained in our culture, but I think that in a lot of ways it is, where like women are looked at as like the emotional heart of a home, and the fixers of all things when it comes to emotions and chaos and everything else. Like you manage a million crises on any given day.
Exactly. Especially as being a mom.
Right. Just being a mom.
Having to control your children and and there's a lot of teachers that do the same thing.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So you think about that, wheelies that are teachers, they have to have
nurses.
And nurses, they have to have a
Their job is managing
environment
chaos.
And they have to be able to solve problems, and they're really resilient too, because they're able to fix things pretty quickly. But when it comes to their most intimate relationship with somebody who struggles with addiction, they have zero control, and it makes them feel crazy.
So they ask a lot of questions trying to get more insight.
Yes. And I would like to know how many wheelies are math people.
Oh, like the math versus English brain?
Yes.
Like left brain, right brain?
Right. Because like with math, there's always a solution, right? You have to solve for the problem. There's always going to be something there. And for me, like math was always a thing. Like I love math. Math was a puzzle for me. And I knew that if I did XYZ, I could get the answer. And I would put that within my relationships and other things and with my children and stuff. It's like, okay, well, if I can do this, I can make sure that things work out how I need them to work out. There's always a solution to the problem.
Yeah. The bitch of addiction, though, is that even if I could tell you like how to solve for X, you can't solve for X. I have to solve for X. That's the part
right
that
there.
sucks. Like even if I were to give you all of the information and somehow be able to write out exactly what is going on with your loved one and tell you exactly why they do the things they do, that would just be knowledge. It wouldn't be anything that gets you any closer to a solution because the solution has to come from them.
Right.
So we'll get into some of this intellectualization.
Intellectualization.
That's a mouthful.
I couldn't even say it. What the heck?
Gosh. Okay. So for other people, this can also help them seek validation and closure. So it is validating in a lot of ways.
Yes, it is.
It is. Like oftentimes what we hear about our show, anytime I offer my perspective, people will say that's really validating because I've always thought this, but I've never heard it out loud from anyone who's ever been there before. And that's my role here at the end of the day, is to provide insight and validation from the other side of addiction, because spouses can talk about it, but I've been there.
You know what you do? You help people trust their gut again.
I hope so.
You help them trust
so.
their instincts by validating their experience, because it's like, oh, you're calling the addicts out, which is what we have noticed and we recognize in those people, in our partners. We recognize these things and you're like, yeah, you're on point. You're on point. So you're helping people trust their gut again. And that's a big, big deal.
You guys are almost always right on the money and so on point. And it takes a lot of bravery to speak up and ask the question. And then when you hear it's exactly what you thought it was, it's like, oh my God, I'm not an idiot.
Right.
I can trust myself
crazy.
again.
Yeah.
That's my job here. That's what I'm here for.
It's a big, big job.
But it can help.
Lots of pressure.
In trying to understand and asking all the why questions, it can help people in some sense. They're seeking validation, but sometimes they're seeking closure. So understanding whether your partner's harmful actions are intentional or they're driven by addiction makes a huge difference in how you see the relationship. If you believe that the behavior is due to addiction, you may feel more justified in staying, because you can say, well, it's not really them, it's the addiction. And we'll get to this a little later. But you might think, if they didn't mean to hurt me, maybe I can forgive them. If it wasn't intentional, if it wasn't malicious, if it's not some like Machiavellian evil plan to hurt you, then it's easier to accept as, oh, people make mistakes, right? But in reality, the harm is happening regardless of the intent.
Right. We had a whole episode on intentions.
Right. And the effects are real for you, regardless of the intent.
Right.
It's still going to affect you, period. I just want people to know that.
Yes.
But it can be helpful for people, and this is why they try to understand it. This is part of the reason. This is sort of the mechanisms that drive the questions about why. Validation and sometimes closure for people. Because if you were to find out that these things were intentional, it'd be easier to say, well, I'm out then. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you're right.
Like, ceteris paribus, all things equal. If someone were to cheat on you, drunk versus totally sober, would you be more likely to forgive the drunk person or the sober person?
The drunk person.
Right? Because you can look at that and there's so many variables at play now.
Because you're blaming the substance.
You're blaming the substance. You're understanding
maybe
that
the environment.
It affects the way that you make decisions and any number of things that can make you do stupid shit. But yeah, it lowers your inhibitions.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean, is that a lot of people look at the intent from that angle, and that's why they ask the question. Another thing behind all this is the alleviation of guilt and self-blame. Many spouses believe that they're somehow responsible for their partner's addiction or their mental health struggles, and learning that addiction is a disease or that trauma drives certain behaviors can relieve the self-blame that comes with it. Like if you've been thinking, what could I have done differently? What can I do differently? How can I approach this differently? Learning about the nature of addiction helps you realize that this is not one of your failings.
Yeah, that's big.
Like what's the old Al-Anon adage? Like it's the 3 C's, right?
You can't control it, can't cure it, and
you didn't cause it. You didn't cause it. Like that's the big one here. You didn't cause this. Like you're not causing this. You're not perpetuating this necessarily. Certainly we can we'll get to this too about
Yeah, but
responses and whatnot. But for the most part, you are not responsible. So it does help alleviate guilt and self-blame. As people want to know more and more about addiction and why someone does the things they do and why they act the way they act, this is often behind it.
Yeah, but a lot of the times they'll feel this way, or they feel like it's their fault because they do have a partner who's blaming them for so much stuff. And that really does break my heart.
Yeah, those babies out there, man. Guys that do that make me sick. This is one that you relate to.
Yeah.
Asking, am I the problem?
Uh-huh.
A lot of times it's a discovery into how much of this, like kind of piggybacking off the last one, is how much of this am I responsible for? Spouses seek to understand addiction in an effort to figure out whether they are the cause of the dysfunction. So many people believe that they can learn enough about it, they'll discover that their behavior is contributing to the problem or causing the problem. So if you understand it, many spouses come to realize that much of the dysfunction stems from the addiction itself and not something that they are doing wrong.
Yep.
That's what you'll ultimately come to. But this is why. This is why. And the why is important. The need for understanding isn't necessarily a bad thing in itself, because it can foster empathy. It can reduce resentment. It can give you insight into someone else's struggles, why we do the things we do, why we do the stupid shit that we do. However, we've got to be careful when understanding that this can be a substitute for action.
Yeah.
Oftentimes. So let's talk about when understanding becomes harmful. When asking the question and trying to understand more about addiction, researching about narcissistic behaviors, because that is like the new thing on TikTok. Narc talk is huge.
Yeah.
There are thousands of creators that have hours of content that teach people about narcissism, narcissistic abuse, and the trauma that results from that. And they learn, and there's also very much like in the same vein, addiction, what talks about addiction. Oftentimes they are on a different side of this than us, where it's just like explaining stuff away in an effort to like make this, I don't know, it relieves addicts of responsibility a lot of the time. I think we fall on the opposite side of the aisle when it comes to that.
Yeah.
It's like, you are responsible for the harm you cause. I don't want to hear shit about the disease you have.
Right.
You hurt people, man.
Yeah.
It's not okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, there is what we're going to call the trap of over-intellectualizing things. Understanding has limits, okay?
Yes.
When it becomes a form of emotional procrastination, it can keep you stuck. If you just sit there and focus on the why all day long, why do they behave the way they do? What you're really doing, you are delaying action. You are delaying setting boundaries or taking meaningful steps to protect yourself. Because when I see that people ask the question, it's not like they ask a question and disappear and they just take the answer and just go live their life. Oftentimes, this is like a years-long process for people.
Yes, it is.
Trying to understand, asking the questions, why, what is happening right now? As they're trying to get some sense of control again over this chaotic situation. But it can go too far.
Yes, it can.
It can go too far. Roll us through delaying action. You hate when I put you on the spot.
I really do.
She just went like this.
I did a little bit, like you'll see me in the YouTube thing. Well, here's the thing. I was listening to you and I was just trying to have a conversation with you.
I'm talking too damn much.
No, you're not. I had some stuff to say too.
All right, I'll go.
I don't want to read.
Hang on. Let me drink some purple real quick.
No, purple. You can't say that. That's like purple in your cup. Isn't that something that you
Oh,
drink?
yeah, man.
Isn't that codeine?
I like my Sprite Easter pink. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Was it pink or purple?
Pink. The good stuff was pink. The crappy stuff was purple. She's referring to lean, codeine syrup.
Yes.
Cough syrup.
Yeah,
that was
back.
the
Holy
closest
crap.
I ever came to ODing was mixing lean with Oxy. Like drinking lean all day and mixing Oxy.
Did you just take the pills and you were drinking the lean?
Yeah, I took the pills throughout the day and I was drinking the lean sitting in bed at night. And
Is that when you're breathing? Like
breathing
went
stopped.
crazy?
Woke up like gasping for
I
air.
wasn't home.
Scared the shit out of me. I ended up snorting Adderall in the middle of the night to get my heart rate back up because that's how genius I am. She's looking at me like I've got lobsters crawling out of my
What's
ears.
wrong with you? I forget that you were like
I was a street pharmacist,
you were freaking
man.
Like
Psycho.
Yes, you were. But I wasn't home that day.
Yes, you were. You were in bed next to me.
Was I asleep?
Yeah. It was like it was like 3 a.m.
Are you sure?
Dead ass. Yes, I remember this vividly.
I didn't pay attention to you too much back then, I guess. I don't know. Like, I don't remember any of that stuff.
You were like doing your thing, living your life. Like, I don't care what you're doing, little child over there. I'm just going to live my life.
Just don't treat me
I'm
like
a grown ass woman. I'm not worried about your shit.
Okay.
Okay. Understanding of when understanding can go too far. So delayed action. Instead of setting firm boundaries, instead of
protecting your values.
I had something in my throat. Instead of protecting your values, instead of living by the things you cherish most, living authentically.
Yes.
You might keep researching addiction for years, months, weeks, whatever it might be, hoping to find the key that will magically fix everything. In reality, focusing on the why without acting on it is just going to lead to prolonged emotional harm, because the harm is still happening, right? It doesn't stop. It is static in the background. It's just happening nonstop.
Right.
And then as you're researching and you're learning, and it is an important process to go through, but
yes,
this stuff is still happening to you.
Right. So I'm going to interrupt you here, because this is how my experience was, is that I did not know anything about addiction for a long time. I did not research addiction. I didn't even I knew that you had it in your family, and I knew that, and I knew the basics of addiction, right? And I knew that, oh, it's wrong, it's bad. I know that it causes issues and stuff like that. But with you, I never looked into it because I didn't care. I was simplifying it by focusing on your behaviors, because that's what was important to me. So I feel like if we overdo it, we're going to completely lose ourselves in trying to figure out why it's happening.
Paralysis by analysis. That's what this is often referred to.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yeah. You get frozen in this state of analyzing things without taking any action. You can only learn about something so much before you need to go do it. Just go try it. Give it a shot. You can read about how to paint all day long. Does it help you make a painting? No. You can read about lifting weights. Does it help you get stronger? No. It's just information, right?
Yeah.
Neither good nor bad. It's just information.
Right.
But spending time in a toxic environment where there's emotional or psychological abuse happening, and that's your life, that's your home, that's your day-to-day, you're getting nowhere just understanding more and more and more if you don't plan on doing something with that information.
Okay.
It's like never using your degree.
Right.
Never using the information that you're taking in. It's important to do something with this. You can get trapped in over-intellectualizing this stuff.
Yeah.
And just trying to understand the why.
Right.
There's a lot of information about addiction out there, and I understand why it's so overwhelming. It's daunting. There's so much information. And at one point in this country's history, or I think in the world's history, we looked at it, probably still some parts of the world that do this. It's just a moral failing, right? These are just weak people. These are weak-minded people. And some people still believe that, fully. These are just weak people. And on the other side, you've got, the disease model of the addiction that says, this is anything but a moral failing. This is genetic. This is societal factors. This is the disease of the brain that causes this. And so you spend a lot of time navigating what's going on. I think without any information, most of us think that addicts, if you didn't know if it was a disease, people would just think they're just dumbasses. These people are just weak. They just have no self-control. They have no willpower, whatever it might be. And you spend so much time researching to understand about the disease model, but then you can go too far with that, right?
Yeah, you got to find the balance in the middle.
But this learning takes time. You have to sit and simmer with ideas for quite some time, and you can spend forever just thinking about this stuff and talking about it and researching it and watching TikTok videos on it and you name it, right?
Yeah.
Listening to podcasts, whatever it might be. But at the end of the day, all it's doing is delaying action and is keeping you in harm's way. And every bit of that emotional abuse lands somewhere and leaves scars. So consider that there's a price to be paid for this intellectual journey that you're on, that it come in the form of emotional scars. It's important. And there is an added complexity to this too, because if you're living with someone in active addiction, you get the stuff that we do. We are shitheads about this. We manipulate situations. We use addiction as an excuse for our bad behavior, which makes you question it even more. We tug at your heartstrings because you love us so much. You want to understand us. You have seen us be good people. So you know it's in there. Yeah. So it's hard to tell what's what. We throw pity parties and say that this is so hard. You have no clue how difficult this is for me. avoid taking responsibility. We also weaponize support. We did that on an episode recently.
Yep. That if you were more supportive,
I wouldn't relapse or I wouldn't have trouble. And we shift blame back onto you. And that manipulation, it complicates things.
Yes,
right?
It does.
It makes the emotional landscape much more complicated than it otherwise would be.
Yeah. It makes it harder for us to judge the behaviors that are going on.
Yeah,
and to see them for what they are.
For sure. One of the other detriments to over-intellectualizing this stuff and just trying to find out why. Like I get a lot of emails, I get messages and DMs from people that are asking these types of questions. And on one hand, I want to validate you guys, and I do, but I know that there's a danger in answering messages because I know what you're also going to do with this information. Is you're going to use it to enable bad behavior. That's my biggest fear. Anytime I give someone an answer, I'm afraid it's going to be used to enable someone else's bad behavior. Unintentionally, right. It's going to be used to perpetuate the cycle of abuse. Like I feel like I'm like complicit in it sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I'm just giving the answer, but I know when someone's looking for it from a place of like compassion and understanding, it enables bad behavior. Sometimes understanding does lead to excusing bad behaviors.
That's what I was going to say.
You might tell yourself it's not them, it's the addiction. Mm-hmm. Depending on the question that's asked, right? And that keeps you from holding people accountable.
Yeah.
It keeps you from focusing on the behaviors rather than the substance. But here's the truth. Understanding addiction doesn't change the fact that their behavior is hurting you. I did a TikTok over this and I got roasted in the comments by people. Because that's my thesis at the end of the day is that the why is not as important as you might think. It's not. And everyone was like, no, the intent matters. Okay, let's keep going on that. Why does the intent matter so much to you? Kind of back to the cheating thing. If they were drunk, it doesn't mean as much. If they were sober, okay, you're excusing bad behaviors. Mm-hmm. This person harmed you. True or false? Okay, that's true. So does the intent really matter if at the end of the day you're still in a therapist's office dealing with it?
Right.
Does the intent matter that much to you? The only reason the intent would matter at that point is because you plan on sticking with it.
Exactly, because you can excuse the behavior.
Yeah, and I don't think every relationship is worth saving. I don't think everyone needs to be saved. I don't. Some of these things are long past the point of repair, and I get worried whenever people look for information to enable bad behavior or to keep that cycle going because it's more comfortable.
Yeah.
Like it is a concern of mine. I feel a responsibility to people saying this.
Agreed.
It's a concern of mine.
Me too.
It is. And like once again, like the disease model of addiction adds complexity to this. It's a way for some to alleviate themselves of guilt. They can say things like, it's not my fault I have a disease. I've heard people say that shit before. It's not my fault I have a disease. Like, okay, you do have a disease? Sure. Yeah.
It's treatable.
Maybe it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to treat it.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And not treating it is the same as not caring. That's negligence at that point. Mm-hmm. That's negligence. So it's partly true, but it just alleviates people the responsibility from their actions. And that leads to enabling as the spouse excuses behaviors like lying, manipulation, gaslighting, cheating, thinking that the addiction absolves people of accountability.
Right.
So I always worry when people ask me questions like, did you mean to do these things? Like, did you mean to manipulate? Did you mean to lie? It's like, no, not always, sometimes, but at the end of the day, does it matter?
Right, you still did it.
Like it messed you up.
Right.
Regardless.
Right.
It broke trust.
It broke trust, everything. Like it was awful and it really affected me. It doesn't matter if it was intentional or not. It went against my values and it was harming me. And you did it over and over again.
Does the law care?
No.
If you get into an accident while drunk and you kill someone? Do they care? No, they don't, man. Mm-hmm. Like you're still getting arrested that
Right.
night.
There's accountability there.
You will still spend some time in jail.
Right.
Like I didn't mean to do it, but you did it. Someone's without their loved ones now. Does that make it okay because you didn't mean to do it? Someone's suffering now because of your actions. It doesn't make it okay. So I worry that people are trying to ask these questions. That's what they're trying to do in some roundabout way. Intellectualizing can also be a defense mechanism. For some, understanding becomes a way to avoid confronting their own pain. And this is kind of what we were just alluding to, is that by breaking down the addiction, by breaking down someone's behavior, intellectually, you protect yourself from feeling the full impact of betrayal or the full impact of disappointment. So instead of acknowledging your grief or your anger, you might spend hours analyzing their behavior, convincing yourself that understanding it will solve the problem.
It keeps you in denial.
It does. It keeps you stuck in denial.
It keeps you stuck in
or
denial.
at the very least, being naive.
Naive. Mm-hmm. Well, those go hand in hand. Yeah.
Yeah, like you can over-intellectualize this and cause harm, and you keep yourself stuck for a very, very long time in trying to understand these things. Like our thing has always been separate the addiction from the behaviors and how those behaviors affect you at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. Now, there is validity to understanding addiction. There is validity to understanding what's going on with an addicted person. There is validity to understanding the why of it all to some degree. I just think it can go too far, right?
Agreed.
Like anything needs balance.
Absolutely.
There's balance with anything. So like, I'm not saying don't research. I'm not saying don't ask questions. I'm not saying don't look into it or read or whatever, watch videos. It's just at the end of the day, it's still going to affect you. Like there is a price that's going to be paid from you emotionally.
Yeah.
Psychologically, it's going to affect you. So when understanding becomes a substitute for setting boundaries or taking action, what it's really doing, it's enabling the addict's behavior a lot of the time. And it's also keeping you trapped in a very unhealthy dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the key is finding balance between those things. Okay. So I've sat here for the last like 10 minutes and I've ripped into Paige is yawning. It's getting late.
I'm sorry.
I've ripped into like why it's bad to understand, but there are some benefits to understanding, but they come with caveats.
Yeah.
Which we will discuss. Mm-hmm. So first one, developing empathy and compassion.
I don't think many of us need to develop more empathy and compassion if we're being real here.
I appreciate you saying that because I agree. I know from our listeners specifically, maybe it's specific to our listeners because our listeners are the best. Wheelies are amazing. They are smart freaking people. They get it. They are very compassionate, loving, empathetic people. I don't know if more empathy is the solution for you guys.
Right.
Like you don't have enough already.
Right.
You know?
I think we need a little bit more FU attitude, but still keep some of the empathy.
Yeah. Just more balance.
Just a little bit more balance.
Right. Yeah. More balance. Because if I know anything at all is that more and more empathy and more compassion isn't going to solve the problem, but it is going to hurt much more when they betray you. It's going to hurt a lot more because you gave up so much to that.
Yeah.
You gave so much to understanding.
True.
You went to meetings with them. You went to counseling appointments and therapy appointments. You sat down and you talked about what they learned in their counseling sessions or their IOPs or anything else because you actually effing care because you are amazing, good people. You are good people.
Balance it. Put some of that into yourself, man.
But let's just say that you are someone that is just like angry. Like you're pissed and like you don't believe in the disease model of addiction. This can help you develop empathy and compassion because addiction sucks, y'all. It sucks to live with. It's not fun. You don't necessarily want to hurt people. You just do. It drives selfish behaviors. It drives irresponsible behaviors. It keeps you in this perpetual state of Peter Pan, man-child. And it's just...
It's helpful to understand that it's not personal to you.
It's not personal. There you go.
That it's not personal. But even then, I like to challenge that because it is personal because it is your most intimate partner. It's the person that you decided to be with. So when they're treating you that way, it is kind of personal. But if you really look at it from the big picture, it's not you. Addiction is just, it's them. It's all them problem. It's not a you problem.
Yeah. So if you're in the type of relationship where you feel like you do lack compassion or empathy or support, this is important because you will understand that addiction does change brain chemistry and you might feel less personally hurt by a relapse or less personally hurt by any number of behaviors. Like it's not personal necessarily. This is shit that addicts do. This is what addicts do.
Right. You get more into the cynical wisdom phase in between there when you start realizing that.
Yeah. And it could even help you. Like if you're new to this whole scene, it could help you and it could motivate you to help them seek recovery or professional help or treatment. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, I heard that this is like a serious thing. Like you're not just a horrible human. You do have something that is treatable. Doesn't excuse these behaviors, but is treatable. We can get you help. You know, it can help develop that.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
I just don't think our listeners are usually falling into this bucket of people. For some, also set realistic expectations. Now, I want you to speak freely on this as I talk about it. Feel free to cut me off. So addiction recovery.
You want my opinions? Is that what you're saying?
Hell yeah, I do.
Okay.
So addiction recovery is not necessarily linear. And what I mean by that is many people have setbacks in their recovery. Many people are going to have slips and relapses for periods of time. They're going to go in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And to avoid the emotional roller coaster of disappointment, understanding and learning more about addiction can help you set realistic expectations, going into it knowing that it's probably not going to be perfect. But you have to know what you're signing up for. You have to know that on the front end. You can't go into it thinking this is a perfect journey. Some people get that experience.
Yeah.
I got that experience.
Yeah.
Well, kind of. If you were on the tape, I didn't, because there were many years
because you were
where
relapsing over and over again.
trying to
before you
stop
went
on my
treatment
yeah,
and
trying to stop my own.
That's different. But I really just, the whole relapse as part of recovery really throws me off. I don't like it. I understand that it's a thing and maybe my expectations are too high, but I know that every time that a person relapses, that trust, that rebuilding of trust starts all over again for the partner.
Yeah, for the partner.
And it might be a thing for addiction, and maybe we need to understand that to some extent, but you need to have your boundaries in place too, to know how many relapses you can have within your relationship.
Yeah. My experience has been working with other people and watching this from the outside is that relapse is often, it's not necessarily like a lack of commitment to the process as much as it is like a lack of understanding as to what's going on inside of your own mind. It's a lack of self-awareness. Like many people feel like cravings make you use. No, they don't actually. You make the choice to use. Mm-hmm. Your irrational thoughts about cravings cause you to believe that if you didn't use, something bad would happen to you, or that you had to use to get through this event, or that you didn't know what else to do. Like that's all bullshit. It's bullshit. We have options. We have solutions. You don't have to relapse.
Right. It's just that you haven't learned your coping mechanisms yet.
Yeah,
you haven't learned how to go through your feelings from the beginning to the end.
Everyone's patience and tolerance for this is different.
True. I'm just speaking on my experience and how I feel about it.
Listen, I just want to say, like, I appreciate the fact that you have little to no fucking tolerance for this. I do. I appreciate that. I think that's admirable. I think that it helps me in a lot of ways. You know, I got a little bit of like, I don't know, like, I think it's funny that David Goggins' book, Can't Hurt Me, is on a reading list. Mm-hmm. Because for people that have been through so much, like you read that book, you're like, God damn, these people are crazy. Oh, yeah. But I think we all need a little bit of that in us. You don't need all that. Like that guy's a nut.
Oh, okay? He is. He's totally. Like he's extra. He's extreme. But I took a lot.
You have to be able to access it.
I got a lot of the not giving a fuck type of
and like
attitude
no fucking
from that,
excuses.
And no excuses. And the fact that, well, here's the thing too about relapse too, is that I'm going to recognize your behaviors before a substance anyway. And that's what I'm really going to look at. If you're starting to be an asshole again, or if you're going back down that road, if you're lying, that's a red flag for me. You know, I don't know what I'm going to do if that happens, if it happens over and over again. Relapse.
It's almost the same, right? The emotional relapse before the actual.
Yeah. And that's when I'm going to really question things. So relapse is just, I'm not going down that road again because I know what it means for us and what it means for you and what it means towards me. And I'm just not doing it. And so I can have that value myself, or that boundary in place to protect me and my children. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And if you don't like it, I don't really care. Yeah. I don't care.
I'm with you 100% on that.
I'm kind of, I don't know, tough when it comes to that shit. But
yeah, a lot of people say relapse is part of recovery. And it's just like, it's a really nice way for them to half-ass their effort or to justify their half-ass effort.
I think it's gone too far. Like, I understand that it can possibly happen. I get that, especially early on. Like, I know that it's hard and struggling is really difficult. But whenever they're always like putting it in your head that it's going to happen, I feel like it's there. You already know, okay, it's just going to happen. I'm just going to relapse. Like you told me before, you knew somebody who went out from treatment like 1 to 2 days and they relapsed, and you're like, what? How? What do you mean? How did that happen?
I've also known people in recovery that have told me before that they knew relapse as part of recovery, and so they looked at it like a meh kind of thing.
Okay, and see, that's what I'm saying. You can't tell these type of people that because they're already manipulative as it is.
There's this dude I know, and he wasn't serious about recovery at all. He told everyone he was. He's been sober for a while now, but he told me this like when he was going through relapse after relapse. He's like, I just didn't effing care. And it was a really convenient thing to say. It's just part of recovery.
Yeah.
He wasn't really trying. He didn't give a shit.
And that's fine. If that's what you want to do, if that's part of your recovery journey, that's cool. But I'm not going to sit around for that because it's going to affect me. It will fuck me up because it will be betraying all over again. I don't. That's another episode.
It is. So the first two, beneficial, yeah, they can be, I think, just our opinion is in certain circumstances they could be for a particular type of person. But in general, I think the most useful one is that understanding, asking the why is that it reduces guilt and shame. Understanding addiction can help you release some of the guilt or shame that you might feel and not being able to fix somebody else.
Yes.
Understanding that addiction is extremely complex and it's not something that you get to control or cure. Recognizing that helps you focus
on what you can control.
You can control, right?
Yes. Your own boundaries, your own healing, your own decisions, like your own empowerment, your own life. That's what you can control. And that is probably the best thing that learning about addiction, narcissism, all those things can help you. That's like the best thing that you can learn from
this.
That.
I think is the golden ticket of all.
I agree with that. And I think but sometimes it's really hard. It's very hard whenever you finally realize this because you realize, I can't fix this on my own. Remember, we're problem solvers.
Right.
We're fixers. We're teachers. We're moms. We're nurses. We know how to work in chaotic environments. We know how to fix things.
We
know how to solve problems. But then when you start learning about this and you're like, I can't fix this. I can't solve this. It's kind of like, for me, it was a relief in a way. But I know how it can be almost
hopeless feeling.
Yes, exactly. Because you're like, oh my gosh, this is something I can't do. It means that they have to put effort into, like, there's nothing I can do to fix this. That's
scary. Man.
It is scary. It's really, really scary.
It's a really hopeless and helpless feeling. But I like to
shift the perspective because this is where like my positivity comes in line is where I'm like, you know what? I think that this is an empowering piece because then you realize it's not yours to fix. It's the weight off of your shoulders. It's like, you know what? I can control me. I can do what I need to do. They got to fix their own thing. I can be there to support them whenever they're going through recovery and that's it. But controlling, no, let it go.
Yeah. There's some other ones I had here. Hang on one second. I took so many notes on this.
I know.
Now we'll get to these in a minute. These are different. These are more on the topic of how it can be harmful. Okay. So, having said all this, there are some benefits. There are some negative pieces of this thing, but ultimately what should we be focusing on? It's action. It's action over understanding. Boundaries over understanding. Understanding addiction can help. Don't get me wrong. We've just talked about that, but it won't protect you unless it's paired with boundaries. The knowledge alone is not going to get you very far in this deal. It's just not. Boundaries are what keep you emotionally and physically safe. Mm-hmm. They set clear expectations for what will and won't be tolerated. And they provide some ground rules. They provide structure in some sense. And they provide a sense of accountability for everyone, for you, in order to enforce them, to get what you want out of life, to keep yourself safe, and also for the other person on the other side to let them know, like, this is unacceptable behavior. Mm-hmm. You're not going to do this shit anymore. So how to set effective boundaries? We've talked about this. We've got a boundary series that I hope you'll go listen to. It's a 3-part series. We talk about the way that we think is, the way that we set boundaries. We talk about values. We talk about like, what are you actually protecting at the end of the day? Mm-hmm. Like why do you have a boundary for this? Like what's the behavior that's actually affecting you?
Yep.
Like we go through it, right?
And we have a boundary.
What's a good boundary? What's a bad boundary? Yeah. In the course, there's a boundaries module that walks you through this as well. So let's just say that you have a boundary on lying. Or being
honesty is one of your values.
Yeah, honesty is one of your values. So you say, if you're lying about something, I will not tolerate lies. If you lie, there will be consequences. And make sure to follow through on those consequences. And those consequences could be you remove yourself from the home, that you decide to end the relationship, that you move in with your mom, that you take a break in the relationship, whatever it might be. But you are not going to tolerate this.
Yeah.
That is focusing on the behavior, not just the addiction of the substance itself. Yep. And it's taking care of something that you have control over. Mm-hmm. This is an action that you can take to actually make a difference here. And they're not going to like it. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, no.
They ain't going to like it.
No, setting boundaries with addicts is very difficult.
Yeah, and the reason this is important, like back to the behaviors versus the substance itself. Like we are so big on that. I want to repeat it in every episode we have. Focus on the behaviors, stop focusing on the substance. Because your partner, guys like me, are going to claim that the addiction made me lie. It was the addiction. You have no idea how hard this is, what this is like. But boundaries remind us that no matter the cause, the behavior is unacceptable. Period. End of story. The end. Fin. That's it. That's all there is to it.
What'd you just say?
Fin.
Oh.
At the end of like old French silent films. F-I-N.
Oh, I learned something new too.
You don't remember that in like old cartoons?
No.
I learned this shit from like Looney Tunes.
No. You remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Drugs didn't ruin everything in my brain. Okay. Setting clear expectations. So we talked about weaponizing support. I think it's important here too. This is another action. So setting clear expectations that support from you is conditional. If a partner tries to manipulate you into feeling like you're responsible for their recovery or uses your support to avoid accountability, you need to disengage.
Yeah.
If they say shit like, if you were more supportive,
I'd stop drinking.
I'd stop drinking. I quit using. I just need your help. You don't have no clue how hard this is. I just need your support. I can't do this without you.
I wouldn't lie to you if you didn't stop nagging at me.
Right. Remind them what you learned when you were researching all this shit, and that addiction recovery is their responsibility at the end of the day. Your support isn't there to carry their burden. It's to stand by them when they're doing the work. Support people in recovery, not an addiction. Let's normalize that. Everyone wants to normalize shit these days.
Yes.
Let's normalize that one.
Yes.
Let's normalize supporting people in recovery, not an addiction.
Yes.
You can't claim support when you're not doing anything that actually requires support. You just want me to be okay with my lack of fucking effort.
Ooh,
that's all it is.
Love that.
That one gets under my skin, dude. Okay, so yeah, boundaries are going to help you balance this. We talked about the need for balance and all this. Boundaries were going to help you understand the balance in understanding and action. So we talked about the understanding piece. This is the action piece. You can empathize with someone's struggles. We want you to do that, but it doesn't mean you have to tolerate behavior that harms you.
Two thoughts at once.
Always. Setting boundaries allows you to protect your well-being while supporting healthy steps forward for them as well. Okay. Reducing guilt and moving forward. This is another piece of it that's important. We talked about this a little bit. Reducing guilt and moving forward. So letting go of unnecessary guilt. Addiction can help you release, or understanding addiction, sorry. Understanding addiction can help you release some of the guilt that you might feel, the shame you might feel for not being able to fix people. Again, it's complex. It's not something you get to control. It's not something you get to cure. Recognizing that helps you focus on what you can control, returning the power to you, returning the focus to you. This is like what our course does.
Yep.
This is what Independently Strong is designed to do.
Yep. Instead
of blaming yourself from relapses or anything else, you get to return that power to you. What do I need? So kind of back to the beginning when I'm like wondering, like, what are people really getting at when they're asking the question? They're trying to avoid this piece of it, which is that you have to focus on yourself.
Yep.
Understanding addiction is important, but what's more important is that you're moving forward. And it reduces the guilt in doing that. This is how I think you use this right. This is a power you can use rightly. It should reduce the guilt that you have for not being able to fix someone, and it should help also allow you to move forward and take action and empower yourself with education, which is part of it. That's part of the VEER method that we use. We validate people and then we educate them, and this is part of that.
Yes.
But then we empower people and then they recover. Like half of the process is literally action.
Yeah.
You know, the first piece, we just listen to you, tell you you're not crazy. We hear you. Then we educate you. Then we empower you and you take action and you recover and you do amazing things. You live an amazing life. And if it does anything at all, this is going to help you make informed decisions.
Yeah, for sure.
Like that's what we try to accomplish as well, is that at the end of this, at the end of the process, all of this, everything that you learn, listening to our show, working through the course, whatever you might do, listening to other creators, other podcasts, at the end of the day, we want people making informed decisions from a place of confidence rather than fear.
Yeah.
you're not going to make decisions just because. You're not going to make decisions out of just fear of the unknown, or fear of what you won't get, or fear that you won't have your happily ever after, or fear that your marriage is ending. You'll be making decisions from a place of confidence, because you will know that no matter what happens, you are going to be okay. I promise you that.
Yes.
I promise you that. I've never seen it work any other way.
Right.
I haven't. I've never seen someone get out of one of these things and be like, that's the worst decision I ever made.
Seriously.
Have you ever heard that?
No.
I've heard people heartbroken.
Right.
I've heard people sad when they think back on it, but I've never heard someone say like, that was the worst decision I ever made.
No.
Not one time.
Mm-mm.
But I've heard a lot of people say, I wish I'd have made this decision about 20 years ago.
Oh yeah. We see that a lot.
Because I spent a long time trying to understand this stuff. Mm-hmm. And addiction adds so much complexity to all this. And the things that we do to tug on people's heartstrings. And yeah, sometimes we show you a little bit and you think that, oh, they're getting it. And then we don't get it. A couple other things. These are a couple notes I'd made. Something else that I think people do whenever they're trying to understand is there's this like underlying hope for change. When spouses and partners are trying to understand what's driving the harmful behavior, I think what they're doing in some ways is they're holding on to the hope that change is possible. Mm-hmm. It's like, if you can explain to me the mechanism that's causing this, that means it can be fixed, at which point I can have hope again.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And a lot of times you get stuck in the hope trap.
Yeah. And that goes along with thinking that if you remove the substance, then everything will be okay. And that's not necessarily true.
No, it's not. This is from, similar to Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. I think that there is a lot of benefit in the search for meaning and suffering. I was thinking about this when people ask the question. A lot of times they've been beat down, figuratively and literally sometimes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just completely wrecked, you know, compared to the person that they were when they entered the relationship. And for many people, suffering without some kind of explanation or purpose just feels absolutely unbearable. Like if they can understand why someone behaves the way they do, it makes the pain feel purposeful in some way. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I
was kind of making notes, and I think this is sort of behind some of this stuff.
Right.
They might believe that by gaining insight, they can make sense of their suffering and then give it meaning. If it has meaning, then it has purpose, and it can be reused. It can be, you can use alchemy. You can create whatever you want from it. But in understanding it, some people are trying to do that, I think. But the one that I worry about the most is that people rationalize trying to stay in an abusive situation that is no longer tenable for them, for their children, for their emotional or mental health. It's just not. This is a dangerous situation sometimes. And if you're using, when you've invested years and years in a relationship, like we talked about the sunk cost fallacy, how this is just a natural human reaction. Like when you've invested a lot of time and a lot of effort into something, the tendency is to stick with it rather than to give up on it, because you invested time. You've got a lot of resources invested in that person or that thing. You know, this is a business term as much as it is a relationship term. But a lot of times when people have invested years and years and years, they might feel that leaving without fully understanding would just be a waste.
Yeah.
And I get that, because we do encourage people to turn over every stone.
Right, for sure.
Turn over every stone. And the reason we encourage it, because we know that you won't take action until you have anyway. Mm-hmm. So turn over every stone, try everything, look at everything, try that treatment center, try that program, try 10 different methods, whatever it might be, but you're not going to make a decision until you've done all those things. Yeah. But a lot of people, a lot of time when they're researching this stuff, is what they're trying to do, is trying to understand stuff so they can rationalize. At the end of the day, what they're really doing is rationalizing staying with it. If they can find more answers, then there could be another solution, in which case they're going to stick around. But my thing is, once again, does it matter? Does it really matter? If you know what the solution looks like.
They're still impacting you.
They're still impacting you. I think that's the part that breaks my heart for people, is that every day that you stick around in a situation like that has a worse outcome for you and for your children. And it's going to be repair that you have to do at some point. At some point, you're going to have to pay the piper. Yeah. And that's just the reality of it. Like, that's the reality. So when you're thinking about narcissism and addiction and all these things and bipolar disorder and a lot of these things that come up in our space, I just want you to know that you can learn all you want about them, but at some point it's going to have to be followed by action. You can paralyze yourself analyzing this stuff for a very, very long time. Mm-hmm. And going to result in you sticking around a situation for longer than you probably should.
Right.
That's just those are the facts. That's the reality.
Yeah.
Like Dr. Clark cracks me up because this dude is bold.
Yeah, he is.
He will straight tell people. Like they'll be with a narcissist and he'll be like, you need to get the hell away from that person as fast as you can.
Yeah. He'll tell them that we need to build you up. I know that you may not be able to leave now, but you need to get out because they are not going to change. He is very blunt and very direct. And I appreciate that because he's pretty much on point.
Yeah. You know, with addiction, it's not too dissimilar because we're not just dealing with addiction. If it was just that simple, it wouldn't be so painful. It's the abuse that comes with it oftentimes.
Yep.
It's the abuse. It's the abusive piece of this thing that makes it so much more dangerous and why we take it so seriously.
The behaviors.
It's the behaviors that harm you, right? That's the stuff that hurts. Like, I'm sure that there are certain types of addicts out there that are just like golden retriever energy.
Just chill.
Just chill, and they're not out there to hurt anybody.
Okay, but
and they're just lovable.
there's no way that
they're harming themselves, and certainly they'd be harming finances, and certainly they wouldn't be a full equal partner.
That's what I was going to say.
They wouldn't be available emotionally
They're not
fully.
emotionally available. You can't depend on them to pick up your children if there's an emergency, you know, because they'll be messed up. No, that's still affecting you.
Yeah, it's still going to affect you.
It may not be. I mean, they may be lying at a certain extent.
It's going to affect your trust, right? But it's harder to look at that one and be like, how can you give up on that? Well, at some point, you're going to have to weigh the pros and the cons of this thing.
And it's progressive. So
you're right about that too. It is progressive. Like what you see now is probably not how it's going to look for a while. Like functional alcoholic always drove me nuts. That was like one of the first reels we ever did that like actually got traction, talking about functional alcoholism. And it's like, that's not a type of alcoholic. That's a stage that we pass through on the way to misery most of the time.
yeah.
Some people stay there for a very long time, but it gets us all. Eventually it gets us all.
Yeah.
And someone's always got some story about their grandfather. Everyone's got this grandfather, it seems like.
Yep.
My grandfather drank 4 whiskeys every single night, and he smoked cigarettes to the day he died at 90. I'm like, yeah, and I bet your grandmother was effing miserable.
Yep.
You ever talk to her about what she really thought?
Exactly.
She might have been from the Depression era, so she didn't expect much of a husband, but is that a marriage that you would want?
Right.
Like, we can convince ourselves that these people are so awesome and functional. Bullshit.
I agree.
Bullshit. You can't convince me that's the truth.
No.
You can't consume that many substances on any given day and be there for your wife and kids.
Yeah.
You just can't. No. And for yourself either. You just can't. But everyone's got that grandfather. You've heard that story from people,
Yeah,
right?
I have.
Yeah.
Heard it multiple times.
So many people have got that grandparent.
Yep.
Yeah, he did it till the day he died. And they use it as like a justification, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I actually was talking to a guy this Saturday about it. He's like, you know, for the longest time, I just justified the way I drank because my great-grandfather did it, my grandfather did it, my dad did it. I'm like, yeah, you're come from a very long, proud family of alcoholics, man. Like, you broke the cycle, though.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yep.
Dude's been sober over a year, man. He's awesome. He's doing great. He's loving life. He's there for people, and he's productive again. You don't realize how much you're giving up and how much you're sacrificing.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, the grandfather story's a crock of shit.
Yep.
All right, it's getting late. I'm out of purple drink. Purple drink.
Purple drink.
Yep. That isn't a lot of rap songs, actually. All right, let's wrap it up.
Okay.
All right. Until next time, I am Matt.
I'm Paige.
And we'll see you.
Bye.